Hey guys, it's me again. So today I wanted to bring in more information I got, especially with the pandemic. Information can be extremely helpful with dealing with it, and everyone's scared with, being quarantined and the fear of infection. So today I did some research, and I got some information I want to share with you guys about the differences between virus and bacteria. Just so everyone knows, I'm sure you guys know, that corona is a virus pandemic. It's a disease causing virus that's what the problem is. It's causing the pandemic right now. So first I'm going to talk about bacteria. So what is a bacteria? A bacteria is a microbe, meaning they're just tiny organisms that have the ability to infect a host, or they can be beneficial, symbiotic to a host. And just so for everyone's info, most bacteria are good. About more than 90% of bacteria are good. The human body is filled with bacteria, especially our gut, which helps us with digestion and everything like that. And just like how we need them, they need us. We survive together, and meaning they're symbiotic. We benefit one another. So, just so you know, about 1% of bacteria actually cause infection, which leads to disease. So, basically, most bacteria is good, but those that are not good, the bad bacteria, those that are not good, the bad bacteria, the 1%, are considered parasites, meaning they benefit while we suffer. They survive at our peril. Bacteria can lead from anything from the cold to something like pneumonia or strep. That's why doctors have sometimes prescribe antibiotics depending on whether or not you have a bacterial or viral infection. And even though antibiotics have been a great breakthrough in science, the scary part is some bacteria can actually evolve or adapt to resist the antibiotics over time, if with overuse, of course. And another downside to antibiotics is that sometimes they end up killing some of our good bacteria. So that's another problem, or another downfall with antibiotics, as helpful as they are. They can lead to a lot of other issues, because once the bacteria is adapted and they start resisting antibiotics, it's going to be a lot harder to get rid of them, especially if they're causing infection, especially if they're spreading really, really fast. So, with that being said, let's move on to viruses. So, viruses are another microbe, and unlike the bacteria, while most strains are actually beneficial or don't even care about us, most viruses, to almost all of them, actually lead to infection, which actually eventually leads to disease. Unlike bacteria, which is living, viruses are non-living. They are literally just DNA enclosed in a protein shell. Sometimes they have little, flagella legs that they are programmed to infect a host cell and force that host cell to produce more viruses. They literally hijack. They take over the host cell's way of producing to survive, and they use it to create other viruses, which leads to another infection of the host cell, and the host cell does it until it bursts, till they die. And that's what viruses do. All they do is replicate. They cannot survive outside of a host cell. They are non-living. Literally, that's all they're programmed to do. And they're considered parasites. Again, they benefit while we get harmed. So that's what's happening. I'm going to assume that's what's happening with the corona as well. It's a virus, so it's just infecting. While another thing is, while most bacteria are localized in a specific place, a lot of viruses spread in the entire body. However, the corona usually goes for the lungs. Although, it's not weird for a virus to be localized. It's just that's what's scary about it. They go for the lungs, and they cause, and whenever there's an infection in the lungs, the lungs become inflamed, and mucus starts, and it's harder and harder to breathe, which is a problem, especially for people who already have problems with that as well. That's why the corona is so scary. Especially, it's a new strain that was announced in January. So new strains of viruses are especially lethal because our body are not prepared for that type of virus. It doesn't know what to do. This leads me to my next topic. Vaccines. Okay, so what are vaccines? I know you guys know, but I'm going to explain anyway. Vaccines are literally weakened or dead viruses that are infected into the human body. And what happens is they're not strong enough to cause disease, so that our immune system responds whenever our body is infected with anything. Our immune system's first response is to attack, and that's why whenever we get sick, that's why we get a fever. That's our body heating up so that the heat can kill bacteria and viruses. I don't know if you guys ever heard that, if you're out in the wild or something, you need water, it's best to boil it to kill anything that's in the water. So our body is literally like cooking the virus, like it's heating up like a pot trying to kill it. So basically our immune response is to immediately kill the virus. And basically vaccines are literally like boot camps for our immune system. It's practice, it's target practice, it's preparedness. You can't go to war without knowing your enemy. You have to know how to defeat it in order to become victorious. I think it was The Art of War that said, know thy enemy. So basically vaccines are know thy enemy. So that after our immune system has destroyed the dead cells, if we were to be infected with the actual more reproductive or more effective virus, our body would immediately know what to do. Like, I fought you before, I know exactly how to break you down. And so that's what vaccines are for. That's why it's important that we get vaccinated, because this way we can prevent more old day viruses like polio or mumps or measles from coming back and becoming a problem. Those viruses still exist, they're still out there, and to prevent actually getting sick from them, That's why it's important that we stay vaccinated so our body knows exactly how to destroy them. So that's what vaccines are, and that's why they're important. So that's why it's so scary right now, because the corona is a new strain, and vaccines take years, I think at least 2 years to produce. So this pandemic is so scary because our body does not know how to fight this. Our body is not equipped with the knowledge or the experience to destroy this. That's why we have to stay quarantined. Otherwise, if we were to be infected with the corona, it'd be extremely lethal. So, what do you do if you were to be infected? So, if you are infected or if you are sick, the first thing is to determine whether or not it's a virus or a bacteria. And the best way is getting tested. I know this can be annoying, but the best way to treat anything is testing. Is by knowing what it is. I spelled that wrong. Ignore that. Knowing what it is can help find a way to destroy, to figure out like treatments. If you are infected with a bacterial infection, unless it's anything like a cold or something like that, just lots of rest, lots of water. But if you have a strong bacterial infection, like strep, maybe, doctors will prescribe antibiotics for strep, and those are intended to kill the bacteria that's causing it. And that's why it's important that you also keep up with how much you're supposed to take for how long, because by keeping up with that, you're more likely to kill a strep while trying to kill as little good bacteria as possible. Now, if you're infected with a virus, that's going to be harder. Hopefully you're vaccinated beforehand. But there are some anti-vaccines, but nothing really that I think is out yet to be given. The best way is lots of sleep, lots of water, electrolytes, eating healthy, things like that. That's why even with bacteria, you can treat it after. With vaccines, it's best to treat before. Getting vaccinated beforehand will totally help with if you were infected with a virus. Another thing that I'd like to note, sorry, this is super bright, but we'll try. Another thing I would like to note is that if you are infected with a virus, do not, I repeat, do not eat fat. Viruses manipulate the fat, and it allows it to spread faster and allows it to multiply faster. If you have a bacteria infection, I repeat, do not eat sugar. Bacteria feeds off of sugar. Sugar, glucose, carbohydrates, starch, avoid these things. There has been studies that show that rats who were infected with the bacteria and were giving sugar died because the sugar was feeding the bacteria, and the bacteria was getting stronger and eventually killed its host. The best way, if you have a bacterial infection, avoid sugar, especially with the virus as well. Avoid fat, avoid fatty foods, oils, butter, things like that. The best bet, veggies. Steamed veggies, maybe. You can add salt and stuff, but that's your best option. I'm sorry, but it's your health, you have to get rid of these compounds. If the viruses and bacteria don't have these to manipulate, they're less likely to reproduce faster. So avoid fat, drink water, electrolytes, avoid sugar if you have a bacteria infection. Everybody stay safe. Well, that's all I have for you guys. I hope it was a lot of information. If you like my video, if you like my channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you later. Bye.